Council is glad to see you. We have significant investments riding on your success. I hope you'll live up to our expectations.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome after what feels like a whole eternity back to Industries of Titan. So a while back ago I started doing the early access games reviews, and I have decided to take a look after quite a long time at Industries of Titan, as especially due to the pandemic, lots of people were losing their jobs, and this meant that people who were supporting the indie devs were also not capable of doing so, and so for the past 2 years the progress has been slowed down. But I have been interested to see what has happened with the game in the meantime, and so we're gonna be taking a look at it in like episode or two, it will depend. I have tried to play this already a couple of times, always getting my ass handed to me by the rebels. So we're gonna go through the basics, we're gonna see how it performs, and I'm gonna see, based on your feedback, how do you enjoy this, and if we're gonna turn it into some semi-series, or if I'm gonna try some of the more challenging maps where I'm gonna get obliterated even harder. So, what do we need to know? So there are a couple of resources for us to manage. We have credits, that is your money. You have minerals, that is like your basic building block. Then you have this thing which is called the isotope, it looks like kryptonite. And then you have waste, because while you are mining or producing stuff, you are also producing waste. And the last resource are the artifacts. These things are usually fine when you survey these buildings, which are from a long time ago, when apparently one of the moons, or Titan specifically, has been colonized, but everything went wrong. And so, as you can see, there was a city in here a long time ago, but now it's just an empty space which is available for us to turn into something new. Last but not least, we need to talk about the influence points. These are used in order to bring in more people, or in order to trade with the council. The council sits here in this building, and the spaceport sits here. But as you can see, we are gonna require the artifacts in order to start getting more people in. You can see that you have citizens and you have employees. Citizens are people who will be making mostly credits for you. Employees are the people responsible for surveying structures, building things, manning factories, and doing all sorts of cool stuff. So we're gonna go through all this, and hopefully I will not screw up again, because it's kind of annoying if you record something for an hour and then you end up losing or screwing up royally, as I usually do, because not your professional walkthroughs. If you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do by now. But anyhow, we're gonna start surveying the current area. Now, the yellow range is what our headquarters can reach. If you have seen my video for Darkest Dungeon, if you have seen my video for Dungeons 3 versus Evil Genius 2, you will know that those games work on two sort of fields: the inner layer and the outer world. Well, Industries of Titan have a somewhat similar thing going on, but it's more like micro and macro buildings. So if we go inside of the headquarters, you will see that you have space of 2468 times 2468, and in here you are able to build habitat pods, monetization stations, power generators, fuel fabricators, and all sorts of things. These are your microstructures, which will be able to start running your buildings. However, later on, since you have these empty slots, you will be able to get into large buildings such as factory, mines, smokestacks, and even more. And you of course need to unlock these by producing credits. So that is why you need citizens. So let's start bringing in more people, because we can see that the rebel threat is currently sitting at 8%, and we are gonna need to acquire certain stuff. So whenever we take a look at one of these buildings, you are able to see that you get either minerals, waste, or artifacts. Some of these buildings can also hold isotopes, and the newest thing which I have realized is that the devs have changed one thing. So currently, if we take a look at the minerals, you see that right now I'm able to circle through different tiers of the mineral. What we have here is the basic mineral. This is what you extract from the buildings or from the raw deposits. Then you would have to refine them into higher tiers, and these basically allow you with lesser amount of resources to build certain structures. Unfortunately, for some structures it works, for some structures it does not work. So let's say we want to build a defense turret. Here you see that you will be only able to build this with the isotopes tier 1 and minerals tier 2 and all sorts of other stuff. So that is why we're gonna have to make sure that we have these things before the rebels show up. So let's get to it. We're gonna have to start breaking down some buildings. Also, new thing which I have noticed is that some of these buildings which you are able to come across now can work as potential batteries, fuel storage, or all sorts of other things. So it can do things for your scanner, it can increase the HP of something, it can do all sorts of cool stuff. But right now we are kind of low on resources, and we're gonna have to decide what do we do and where do we do it. So I'm thinking over here we're gonna extract the artifacts, and over here I'm gonna probably not keep this because pollution, which we can check here. So for example, our energy grid, our transportation grid, our pollution grid, our xanthane grid. So this is basically the gas which is in the atmosphere, which we are able to turn into fuel. And here you can see what's the percentage in the atmosphere. Some of these locations have higher rates, some of these locations have much lower rates. So we're gonna have to survey, we're gonna have to expand, and we're gonna be able to then produce fuel, and by burning the fuel we can then make energy. I know, every environmentalist's favorite theme. And then there are some other stuff like population overlay and such and such. So we're gonna most likely be breaking down this for the minerals. I want to make sure that we are able to get as much of this stuff as possible. And here it's really tempting to be taking isotopes, but it would also create the waste. So let's go with this for now. So that means half of our employees should be able to work. And we are gonna start saving up some of these resources. And once we have some of these resources, because I hate to put inside of the headquarters stuff like storage or production of energy or fuel, because you don't have as much space. For example, if we build the factory, we have like tiles of 12 times 12. And so a large portion of the game will be playing this sort of Tetris, where you try to find out how to cram in the most amount of stuff possible in order to potentially get something out of this. So what I would love to do is build some freaking factory, but it looks like we are currently not able to do so. We can survey the buildings which are in the range of our headquarters even without owning the tiles. As you can see, I would have to claim them. But I like to first survey everything, and based on that I then decide in which general direction I start building towards. So we're gonna make sure that everyone is working their ass off in order to make sure that we have the necessary stuff, and we will definitely require some isotopes as well. And as you can see, some of these buildings contain just isotopes. Some of these buildings, like this is like no-brainer. Why would I take 3 pieces of waste when I can get an artifact out of it? Then there are buildings like 32 minerals, 2 pieces of waste, 20 minerals, 5 isotopes, or 2 artifacts, so it starts to get a bit more challenging. Here, for example, we would require 1 isotope, or we would get 1 isotope or 1 artifact, and because we are slowly creating the influence, we have to be careful which slots we commission at what time. So I'm gonna unpause the game, and most likely we're gonna have to do something which I'm not that thrilled about. Okay, so let's see if we can actually go ahead and build the damn factory. We still require the isotopes, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna be forced to make something inside here regarding the storage. Why am I not able to do anything with the storage? What the heck is going on? We should not be having this trouble. Okay, the game is deciding to screw around with me, so that's always fun. We're gonna go and give the people something to do in the meantime, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to figure out what the heck is going on, because I totally should be able to acquire the isotopes and everything necessary. So isotopes are over here, so we're gonna claim this building or these ruins. This should allow us to get the isotopes on the ground. They do not need to be necessarily inside of a building for us to gain access to them, but this is really starting to annoy me. What the hell is going on right now? And I'm not even able to build anything, so that's really freaking weird. So we have devices, and for some dumbass reason, it's prohibiting me to build just about anything. And I'm wondering, why is it happening that I cannot build anything? Alright, because I'm an idiot and I have switched the minerals. Okay, so that explains everything. So now we should be actually able to go ahead and build the factory. So that's seriously not able to build it. Okay, let's do the damn storage. Man, I'm really living up to the name of the channel, huh? Anyhow, so let's build the storage so that we can potentially hold those damn isotopes in there, and hopefully that's gonna allow us to start building the factory and then to speed up this whole shebang, because I have just killed a whole lot of your time if you're still watching at this point, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, can you actually freaking pick up some of the isotopes, please? Like, I really don't want to be building freaking storage for stuff in here. I'll have to dismantle this anyhow later on and just rebuild it for something else. So hopefully they're gonna be able to bring in those damn isotopes finally, or I'm gonna get super angry. Are they moving the isotopes yet? I do not recall this being only selected for minerals, so they should be actually hauling in everything from outside. We're starting to... Yep, there we go. Okay, finally. Jesus, this took way too long. So now we have a factory being constructed. We're gonna have to take a look at what else is around. Let's clean this so that we gain more isotopes even. And the funniest thing is that you can actually have the factory and you have the ground floor. So like in your headquarters, just it's a larger space. And the funniest thing is that you can build up. So you can upgrade the structure, building another floor on top of the previous one. And what you can also do is build adjacent factory like this and have the two buildings connected. So we can actually go ahead and have the other factory built like this, and what our workers then can do is connect the two structures, and this way you actually double the floor space available to you, and that's going to be actually a solid start for us, as this is going to allow me, while monitoring the threat level, to have better management of space and to better accommodate all that I need to put into the building. So what we can do here is do the connect, And what you need to keep in mind is that normally at this point you should have some sort of power generation and some sort of fuel generation. If you have, for example, a factory which is responsible for a majority of your energy and power production, however you do not have some fuel reserves or you do not have battery packs, the building is not functioning while it's being upgraded or reworked. So you can theoretically run out of juice or not have fuel. And this can be bad, especially if you have like turrets which should be working. As you can see, the building floor has doubled. So normally we would have 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 times 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. But now we have it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 times. So it's much larger. It's no longer a square which we are working with. It's now a rectangle, but it allows us to start accommodating, like, for example, the large fuel fabricators. So what I want to do is make sure that we can accommodate as many of these suckers as possible. And like, if you place these things in this sort of fashion, it's gonna allow you to then accommodate fuel and just use up the space much more efficiently, rather than if you would have to build the factory, build a separate factory, and then once you, for example, connect the buildings, the additional tiles which are created, everything is a mess. You aren't really able to move these objects around, so like move them from point A to point B. You have to dismantle the whole thing and then rebuild it all over again. So it's really annoying, and this way it's gonna be much easier for me to set up the ground floor, and once we have the building upgraded, it's gonna be easier for me to try and manage this from outside. Okay, so what else do we have? That's 8 minerals, that's 8 minerals, that's 10 minerals. The coolest thing is that we can even claim this land which is not adjacent to what we own. So I can go for this deposit of 57 minerals, but I'm gonna go and claim this one, and we need to assign a worker for it so that we can start mining resources. And we're gonna have to start building some stuff. So I want to build a large generator, but for that we of course need more minerals and more resources. So I want to claim this land as well in order for us to have a steady source of resources, because the surface deposits, they do not produce waste. So this is the benefit to having them. Okay, now that we have the sufficient quantity of this, I can go ahead and put down the large generator over here so that we can start pumping in juice into the power grid. And the power works on an interesting level, or it has an interesting mechanic. So if you are building energy, or if you are creating energy inside of a building, you need to be able to hook it up to your overall grid. So if we would have only this generator, it's only producing the juice for this floor. So we will need to actually build an energy bridge, which is a thing that allows us to connect to the external sources. So let's say you have like a large power plant or energy pylon which is able to transfer energy from building A to building B. The bridge will connect to the pylon and then to the other building, so you can have most of your energy being produced over here along with the fuel, and this way you are able to function properly. We're gonna need relay in order to actually power up the battery too. We are slowly getting some minerals, but it's taking time because we are only using a set amount of people there. So what I would love to do in the meantime is try to get our hands on maybe more stuff here so that we can employ more people. Let's claim this and go for the artifacts. I'm gonna go here and claim the artifacts too. We can survey this. And so now we have more of our employees actually working, and this way more of the resources are able to be moved around. If you want to prioritize which tasks are being done, what you need to go is click on the city employee management, and here you have the order in which these things are produced or prioritized. So cleanup is the last thing. Move resources, I want to move that up here. Repair is also crucial. Ruins can be left after, or they can be actually moved up. No, let's keep them number 4 so that we manage the resources primarily. And this is going to allow you to prioritize tasks based on your situation. Okay, here it looks like we're going to get only minerals out of this building, so I want to go ahead and do just that. And here we can monitor how much energy and how much fuel we are currently producing. This thing will consume 3 additional points of energy, so I want to go ahead and do just this and put down 2 additional batteries so that we burn through our mineral deposits. And also we will be able to put down another prefab for the large fuel generator, and this way we are going to be able to store some more stuff, or we can go ahead and build some larger fuel tanks in here. If I were to build additional 2 fuel generators, I would actually replace these small fuel tanks with a large one, as it fits nicely into this little nook and cranny which you would generate. So these 4 tiles are perfect for the large fuel. But right now, what I want to concentrate upon is making sure that we are able to manage some other stuff. Okay, resources not yet. What we need are logistics and the waste receptacles in order for us to house this junk that is stored outside, as that will also have to be disposed of eventually. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's put down you. Let's put down these 2, and then we can put down 4 of these waste receptacles. So this is going to allow us to pump up the energy or the fuel production, and it's going to allow us to have some sort of larger fuel backup, as currently we have only 400 units of fuel stored. I'm not really sure what are the units of energy that we are pumping out. Are these kilowatts, or what's the unit in which this is measured here? So I'm just gonna call it energy or power, and that's gonna be it for now. And so this is how we are going to be able to start setting up our ground floor. And once we, for example, go and have the building like upgraded, for which we need actually 24 isotopes, and we have only 6 of them, which is a problem which can be solved by us claiming one of these slots with like 16 isotopes. Here we have 12, here there are 22, and based on how many resources there are, the price might change, or what specific resource it is. This can change. Some of these buildings can actually hold the higher tier resources, so the manufactured or upgraded minerals or isotopes. These obsidian ruins usually hold a couple of interesting things, and the artifact anomaly on its own, which is super pricey, holds like 16 points of artifact, so that's just ridiculous. I'm not really sure right now if you have like a limit as to how many artifacts you can hold, but in order for you to, for example, transfer or change citizens into more employees, you need artifacts. You want the citizens, you need artifacts to unlock spaceport. You want council, you need artifacts. So the hunt is always there, so it keeps pushing you to try and get these things done. As you can see, we have like 40 something minerals left, and we have almost completely depleted the 2 first surface mineral deposits alone. So it's not really that great. Let's clean this, and let's take the resources and the trash. We have 44 more slots available, so we should be a-okay. And the funniest thing is that you can build the population or the habitat pods right next to like your manufacturing. It's even making the fun out of things like the monetization station in the tutorial, that your citizens are gonna be brainwashed by a bunch of commercials and videos. So think of like when you're trying to watch YouTube and you keep getting commercials for the weirdest stuff ever. So they're trying to make fun out of that too. So it's really hilarious in that point of way. So if you want to try the game, I'm gonna try to leave the links for you in the video's description if this is gonna eventually turn into a video. That's a big if I don't get destroyed, because we can see that the rebel threat has gone up to 26%, so that can be kind of problematic for us. I want to claim this in order to get additional resources. So we do have the storage right now, and in order for us to manage and get even more stuff, I definitely want to go ahead and build couple of these storage units, so they're going to be able to hold quite a lot of stuff, but they are also kind of expensive because you need 25 minerals in order to get them. We're gonna have to be careful here in order to not deplete all the resources, because what can happen is you're gonna end up with like a barren land which you cannot really do anything more with, because you suddenly are capable of acquiring more resources as you have surveyed all the buildings and you have extracted all the resources. So that is one of the mistakes which I have done previously too. And then the rebels flew in and I wasn't able to build, for example, a turret to defend the headquarters, and if your headquarters gets destroyed, it's a game over and you have to start all over again. So it can be kind of frustrating, especially if you spend like an hour trying to work something out and then eventually you still end up losing everything. So we're going to try to avoid that, of course. These minerals are definitely going to help us out. We are now going to be able to store a whole lot more stuff, hopefully. Construction is high priority, so that's awesome. Soundtrack to this game is really cool too. And so far I did not come across any crashes. I swear to God, this is the only title which I have on Epic Store game, or Epic Store, what's it called? But I'm considering that maybe because Darkest Dungeon 2 will have a launch in early access on around like 26th of October, I might try to purchase that too. I'm not really sure as of yet, because I'm like all over the place with trying to produce content for the channel and coming up with new comparison ideas and doing all sorts of other stuff. So I'm always trying to make something interesting for the channel. I just thought this would be like a pleasant change from what I have been uploading onto the channel for the past couple of weeks or so, because I had some issues with my eyes. So I was just using up the old footage which I had set up for the channel, and I wanted to get rid of it. So I kind of do apologize if you were not so stimulated by it, but I'm always trying to bring the coolest things. And if I would feel like the videos which I have are complete garbage, I would of course not post them onto the channel itself, because at the end of the day we do want to make sure that you guys and gals are having fun watching the content. So that's my priority at the end of the day. Okay, so how are we looking? 58. Okay, so this is all being processed, and now I'm thinking we're gonna start putting down some habitat pods so that we can start accommodating people. And you can actually play around with how you have these habitat pods connected. One thing which is really unfortunate is that, for example, if I would pause the game in order for the workers to actually not deposit the resources here, if I were to put down one habitat pod like this, it's unfortunate that you cannot do this. Like, you need to have a space in between them, but it can work out. It's just unfortunate because it can consume like a stupid quantity of space then, but these four should work perfectly fine. And because these should be in the range, they should be able to get the juice. I'm gonna put down one of these relays just to make sure that these habitat pods are able to accommodate our people, and unfortunately each one of these is only capable of holding 2 citizens. So just by doing this, I'm gonna be able to accommodate 8 people. That's not a whole lot, considering the fact that we have certain amount of credits and we need to pay out salaries to the employees. We're gonna have to, of course, improve that or increase that. But trying to accommodate the people like this is not so proficient. So what is much better is for you to get the residential structure for 1000 and try to accommodate the people in there and use the factory floor instead of the habitat pods for the monetization station. Or for example, if you actually go into the HQ itself, if I were to dismantle these storage units, so what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have more space, but we need to make sure we have an energy bridge so that the energy which we are currently producing in the factory can go even inside of the HQ. So we always have to play around with this. I'm not really sure if I will require even a pylon right now since the buildings are adjacent. Most likely I will have to build it anyhow. But as you can see, we have like 0 isotopes and such, so I was thinking maybe it would be good for us to try and claim one of these slots and grab the isotopes which are located in here. That's gonna give us something to work with. I'm not really sure if anyone is currently idle because they have all the surveying and everything to be done. So I want to make sure that I know what's in my vicinity. So for example, here you see this building would be able to absorb pollution. This building stores 16,000 points of energy. So it's like some sort of a battery. So instead of just getting the minerals and isotopes and a whole lot of waste, you can actually use this as an external power storage. So it can be really awesome to keep that. Okay. Have you guys disposed of this? Okay, so energy bridge should be done, and the problem is we're gonna require the damn pylon in order for us to gain access to what we need. So hopefully the isotopes are gonna be extracted. This one has 12, this one has 16. We have 58 points of influence, so I want to tap into this and let the workers do their thing. And if we get those damn isotopes, it's gonna allow us to do a couple of things. We have 8 artifacts. We're able to hold some citizens. So what I want to do is go here, and what you are going to be able to see is that you will need to exchange influence for a certain amount of population. This is perfect because this is going to give us exactly how many citizens we need. However, quite a lot of times the citizens do not come alone. So you will see the citizens bring along waste, or sometimes they bring in minerals, sometimes they bring in isotopes, but a lot of times they bring in trash. So you need to keep that in mind, and you cannot house or accept anything which is over your capacity for the citizens. So I would never be able to take this ship Luna, where there are 15 citizens, as I do not have the housing that is necessary. So once I purchase the citizens or pay for them, we're able to see that they're gonna make their way, and they're gonna actually head inside of the factory. And if we go inside, you are gonna be able to see that they're gonna be start to live in here in these small little pods, and that's gonna be fine for us right now. We are able to store waste because people produce waste, and we're gonna be able to start monetize them. So it would be awesome if we can actually build the stupid energy pylon, but we still are lacking those damn isotopes. Seriously, what's up with this? Move resources. Let's put that even higher, and the ruins. Let's put that like up in here. Can you please stop screwing around? So once we get this, we are at 33%. This has 4 isotopes, 10 waste. We can claim this building and we can salvage it. This one has 19, 4, and 15. 21, 5, and 24. This has the energy potential of this thing. You see, this, for example, obsidian ruin costs more because it's the obsidian ruin, but the minerals are of a tier 2 and the isotopes are as well. So these are those rare structures. Here, for example, 9 minerals of tier 3, so that's 2 refining, which you would need to do. Then you have isotopes of tier 2 and tier 3, so this is really awesome, but it would cost me an arm and a leg in order to get this. The current influence cap is set to 100. Not really sure if you can top it, but we're gonna see how we get along and what are we gonna be able to do. So now that we have this, I'm gonna build down or put down the pylon. And this thing should theoretically allow me to do what I need to do. Okay, let's claim this space. I know that there are no buildings, but it's gonna allow us to have like this range and explore what we need and do what we need, and also transfer the energy currently being produced from within the factory into the pylon, into the headquarters, where I'm gonna be able to actually accommodate a stupid quantity of the monetization station. So currently, as you can see, the bridge is working because the energy pylon has been constructed. So the energy from the factory is now flowing inside here, and we can actually play around with this quite well and try to accommodate at least, I think, 8 of these monetization stations at least, I think. Don't quote me on it yet, but it should be doable. Okay, so we're gonna change this around. This is why I paused the game, so that the workers aren't carrying in here those resources yet. So we're gonna try to do... Let's cancel this. We're gonna try to do it like so, and hopefully, thanks to putting it like this, it should allow us to accommodate this. We can theoretically build in a battery to hold in a power. And we can try to build even more of these monetization stations. So just try to make sure to space them out properly. I'm not still sure if this direction is gonna work, because if I were to build here, then these 2 monetization stations are not gonna be able to work. So I might have to switch this around or see what I can do here. Yeah, this is not good. So this is gonna be just like in Evil Genius 2, where you are trying to make the best choices for the limited space available for your space given to you that you are able to utilize. For example, like this, we have 3 and a 5, so that's 8 of these which are able to be accommodated here, and we can build another one over here, or we can build it over here. I think I'm gonna build it over here, and that way we can theoretically hold some waste in here. And this is not gonna work. We're gonna have to switch this around. So let's do, because we would be out of range. So theoretically we can put down the waste receptacles in here, and now they're gonna be able to start moving in and start building these things. However, of course, these are gonna require energy to run, so we're gonna have to watch out on how much energy we are consuming and how it's going to affect everything. Because as I explained when we went outside, when we take a look at the current ratio of the gas, depending on where we are, there is a certain percentage in the atmosphere. And some of these places have really high concentration, but because we are running in the lower 30%, it might actually start to get depleted, and therefore if you try to put in way too many fuel fabricators, it can have negative effects, as you will not be able to keep up with your fuel creation, and it's just gonna be a total nightmare. So right now, all of our 8 citizens should be able to come here and start making us money. However, of course, we're gonna need a whole lot more citizens in order to start turning profit, because we have all these employees which need work, and I can see that 4 of them are sitting idle. So I want to change that. And what would be a good way to do so? I really want to get my hands on this damn thing. So it's going to be one of the first things. And we have factory, we have a mine, but for that we actually need to find a sort of surface deposit, which will tell you that yes, you can build that, but you also need to find it. So it's not really guaranteed it's gonna happen on each seed of map that you are gonna play with. Smokestack is an interesting thing because this thing actually burns waste and it creates pollution, and what you can do is put a fuel turbine which does the macro version of the fuel production unit here on a much larger scale. So it takes the xanthine from the atmosphere, or however you pronounce it, and turns it into the fuel. But right now you can see that we are not really that well situated with some of these things. 53, we can claim this and we can start extracting 58 pieces of minerals, which would be extremely helpful to me. We are looking at 73 minerals of the basic class, which I'm perfectly fine with. Reason behind that is we need 400 just to build the defense turret. And trust me, we're gonna need the damn defense turret in order to defend the headquarters. We are getting up to 40% almost, so the rebels are gonna start then showing up eventually. The biggest problem is I don't know if there is some sort of building which would be able to tell me from which direction specifically these guys are gonna show up from. So it's kind of all over the place when it comes to this. You can have like one building over here and the ship is gonna come from here, start attacking it. You have to either sell it, let it be destroyed, and then get the enemy ship into the turret's range. Or now with this current patch which is running for the game, you are finally able to start building your own ships which are able to like fly around the map, but you also need to have your employees enter the damn thing and do this thing on your behalf. So there's also that to be considered. Okay, this thing I want to keep probably for the storage of the energy. This thing has the artifact, and if we would go and gain access to the council, that depletes all of our currently available artifacts. So the funniest thing is here you are able to get minerals, isotopes, or credits if you are running low based on your influence. However, you are only able to do 5 trades at a time, and then there is a cooldown which slowly ticks up, allowing you to start trading up again. So you cannot keep spamming this if you are, let's say, sitting on 10,000 credits and you need some minerals or isotopes. It doesn't work like that. Or if you need influence and start selling it like crazy in order to get more influence points so that you can get your hands on one of these buildings. You're gonna most likely have to manage your time and resources accordingly in order to make the proper choice. Okay, we're gonna extract the artifact because we have none of them yet, and I can claim this land in order to fill in this space. How about you? 12, 2, 7, 2 artifacts. Let's claim the artifact. And we still are capable of making more employees, but in order to do that, you actually need this thing, a conversion conversion capsule. So this thing is pretty neat because it allows you, as I said, by using a piece of artifact to turn one of your citizens into the employee. So instead of 8 people doing the work, let's say you have the smokestack, you have 1 fuel turbine, so that's like 2 people who are all the time stationed over there, and you are now missing more people to be working on something. By transferring the artifacts or your citizens into employees, you're going to be able to fill in that space and have more people work for you. It'd be awesome if we can claim these damn artifacts, because then I can be actually extracting these resources instead of taking these bits and pieces out of everywhere. How are we with this? 52. Let's go for it. There's 53 minerals, so I want to get these deposits in. We are currently sitting at 144. I should probably try to expand the storage capacities of our facility. So let's build 1 more of this, and our waste, we are currently okay, so we should be able to manage this properly. And we can of course expand this. You don't really need to like manage these fuel tanks or get up and close and personal to them. At least for now, I think that is the case. We can go ahead and build 3 more up in here so that the surplus of fuel which we are producing can be stored somewhere. Because right now, if I were to, for example, put in the upgrade, so we have the 24 isotopes, right? In order for me to build the additional floor of the building, this will shut down our entire power grid and fuel grid. So only thing which we would be working with is the energy stored, so the 1.7 thousand units of energy and the 900 points of fuel which we have, which would be fueling the energy production for a short amount of time. But while we are upgrading the factory, all of these monetization stations are shut down most likely. So this is something which we are gonna have to address as well. But currently we still have some space available. The thing is, I kind of do want to hold out on doing something crazy and stupid, because I really want to build the stupid defense turret. And even if I circle through here, you can see that it's gonna only be using minerals of 1st tier and isotopes of 1st tier. So it's pointless for me to be refining right now the minerals into something higher grade when I actually need the raw resources. And one more thing, the yellow line which you see from the HQ can be expanded by you building a command center. So this is like a small building which extends the range of your reach of your current company. So this is the grid which we are given right now. There's still plenty of buildings, but considering that there is a space yard over here which might be owned by the rebels or something, and there is just a crap ton of buildings to speak of, these all would be a great addition. So if I were to build, for example, once I destroy or claim this building for the artifacts, so let's do it. Let's claim the artifacts. If I would have the 200 minerals, what we can actually do is pretty damn neat, as it's gonna allow me to tap into these additional buildings so we can scout them and we can take them apart. I just need to get the additional minerals in order to do so. We do have a couple people idle, so let's put them to good work. This thing has isotopes, artifacts. This one is gonna cost me a whole lot of points, which I do not have right now for claiming. So let's try to do in the meantime as much work as possible. We can theoretically sell some of these isotopes, however you can see that the exchange rate is not that great. 2 isotopes for 5 influence points. It's kind of stupid when you consider that for an entire factory structure, you need 2 isotopes, right? So I do not recommend it, but as I said, if I were to go and sell this, let's say 5 times, now you see that this blue bar needs to fill in before I'm able to do anything else, and our influence has not gone up that much. So there are things for us to consider as well due to this. Okay, how are we looking mineral wise? Mineral wise, we are tapping into the last surface deposit, so everything else will have to come from these buildings, which I'm not that ecstatic about, but it will have to do in the meantime. It will have to do. So hopefully this is gonna keep the workers or the employees busy. This one I want to keep for the storage because, sure, right now we are creating only like +6 points of energy, but if I would actually upgrade the pylon here, it would extend its reach, and therefore this should be in the range, and we should be able to use this as a potential battery of sorts in order to store a crazy surplus of juice. Okay, what else is there for us to work on? We have the resources in order to go ahead and build the command center. So as you can see, it will be able to expand the range, and we would be able to gain access to all these buildings. It's usually better if you go something like this, but if there's like a huge crevice which you cannot really occupy, or if there's like a bunch of water, it's kind of pointless for you to try and build it over there. So it's always best for you to try and fit it where you will most likely need it. So I'm gonna probably build it over here, and we're gonna need the energy pylon next to it in order to transfer the energy into that building, because of course it needs some energy to run efficiently. I'm thinking we're gonna need maybe more fuel manufacturing, and that means we need to create some sort of space so that our workers can access these storage containers too. So I was thinking if I would put these like so, we can then put this like here. We're gonna take all the resources and start building the fuel fabricators. That's gonna ramp up our fuel production, and also the large fuel tank is gonna be able to hold a bit more fuel, so we're gonna go from 900 higher, so up to 1.3 thousand. I'm not really sure right now if we need an employee to be mandatorily stationed inside, but as you can see, right now this has caused a couple of problems. Like if I want to build the conversion capsule, it's kind of tricky. The only place where I can imagine it going is here, but even that I'm not sure would work. So most likely we're gonna have to have the building upgraded, and you can already see that they are dumping the trash all over the damn place. The funniest thing is that you will even see them like tippy-toeing over the trash, so it's kind of funny that way, considering the fact that they dumped it on that spot. But anyhow, man, this is gonna take forever for you guys to transfer all these resources by foot, huh? It'd probably be awesome if we can start building the transport hubs and have some sort of road system and some sort of infrastructure, but those are resources which right now I cannot afford to spend. Like just by building the command center and trying to tap into these additional resources here, we have wasted most of our minerals, so we're gonna have to reclaim them from somewhere. Or even here we have 6 artifacts, so that's perfectly fine. Waste is manageable. This thing has just isotopes, and so if I do this, I'm gonna definitely take the artifacts. And in order for us to upgrade this, we need 24 isotopes, so that would be awesome. And of course, for the upper floor, we will need to, again, go with the energy bridge. I absolutely do not understand why I need to put an energy bridge on every floor, since the building is already connected to your power grid. And when I played this before, the funniest thing was that actually if you had a factory of tier 2 and you wanted to get the energy from the grid into the upper floor, you also had to upgrade the pylon so that it would be able to transfer the energy into like the higher floor of the building. So that was kind of funny, for me at least. Don't have the resources in order to do this, and you guys have kind of lacked off when it comes to building the command center. What's up with that? We need to change the construction and put that up until the second thing. Not really sure if you're able to build this with the resources currently available to you. If I go for the upgrade, we do have the isotopes. It would definitely help me out having the additional floor, because I cannot squeeze in anything else up in here. So these things are just currently working for me, but there is a limitation as to how much you are able to do. We are getting closer and closer to the 50%, so that's gonna be kind of tricky to manage. Artifacts, we are looking good with artifacts. However, those mineral deposits which we have already used up, that's kind of bothering me on a couple of levels. Minerals 14 stores 16,000 points of energy. That would be awesome too. Also, funniest thing was that when I had the which one is it? Population, military power, fuel silos. So if you have this thing, I do suggest you to keep it highly protected, because it's highly volatile. And so if the enemy ships start to shoot your silos with fuel inside of them, what's gonna happen is actually it's gonna explode and damage all the surrounding buildings. So I do not recommend you building the fuel silo next to your headquarters unless you want to lose. So try to keep it somewhere where it's going to be able to be protected, and I really hope that we're going to be able to build that freaking turret finally, because it's taking them forever to just get this thing over with. So I'm really hoping they're going to move and get it done. Don't have these things. I do want to go for the upgrade too, but I want them to do this first. So once we have this up and running, we have 1.7, we have 1.3 thousand units of fuel, and we have 1.7 units of energy. I'm quite sure we're gonna require the energy even for this command center, so the pylon will need to be connected to this as well. I'm gonna probably build the turret around the HQ. Even if I were to lose the command center, screw it, we are gonna be hopefully able to rebuild it or something. We need to protect the HQ primarily. So is this gonna be able to do its job, or do we need to first power it up? Yeah, we need to build that energy pylon right up in here, right next to it. So this should be able to get the necessary energy in. Minerals 21. Don't have this. We have quite a lot of artifacts, so I'm gonna go with the minerals here. And we're gonna go with the minerals in here. So now this is done, and you can see we can start surveilling a whole lot more structures. There's even a spaceport of some sorts. So I'm really dying to see what are we getting into here and how many resources can we bring in home from this additional region. Thankfully, it doesn't look like we actually need an employee here. And the funniest thing is also you can have these structures burrow, so they actually go underground, and if they're attacked, it takes reduced damage, or the enemy is gonna start skipping them for attack and focus on some other structure instead. Okay, so I want to have all of this surveyed for resource management so that we know what we are getting into, and I also want to have the upgrade up and running. So as you can see right now, our energy is going down, so this will mean command center and everything is gonna shut down until we have this thing upgraded. And if I were to enter here, everything is powered off. So always try to have at least 2 sources of energy and fuel if you are doing this early in game, but now we are back up and running. But we will need to manage our energy even more. So now we are able to check the lower floor, we are able to go up into the higher floor, and again I will want to build at least 2 of these things. We are gonna require the energy bridge, of course, or let's cancel it. Let's build the bridge like so, let's build the relay like so, and have 3 batteries over here. We're gonna build this up. This is gonna help us out with the energy. It's gonna consume 6 points of fuel, which we are currently producing out of the surplus of 8, if I recall it correctly. Yeah, so fuel cost is -3, energy output is +9, so we're gonna go to +16, and we're gonna go down dramatically with our fuel production. Okay, so we have quite a lot of stuff here that we can actually tap into. Look at this, minerals 2, isotopes and everything. It's all in here. We're just gonna require quite a lot of influence in order to tap into these resources. So I'm gonna try to do that if possible. I'm gonna probably sell this in order to gain more influence. So it's now gonna be jumping up slowly, slowly, slowly. So that we are able to manage this. It looks like there's more even isotope deposits located in that location. I really don't want to claim this right now. So let's claim this too. We're gonna have to expand the fuel production. And here I see that there's like a higher ratio of the xanthane. There's like 48% of this stuff here. There's even like 50-something% over the crevice. I'm not really sure if we can make like some sort of fuel turbine over the crevice, because A, it's out of our reach, and B, I'm not sure if it's gonna be even possible. Who knows? The mine, as I explained, that works on like a large deposit, so it looks like a big rock or something, really like an open mine where you see a bunch of these deposits, and it will tell you that this is a surface deposit for mine only, so you will not be able to use your actual employees to do this for you. You really need to change our fuel production and ramp it up kind of here, because we are going only up 1 or 2 levels. Theoretically, what would be awesome is if we can take a look at this. So here we have 41.86%. So what I would love to do is go for the fuel turbine, because this is a structure which works on a macro type of equivalency, so it produces more, and if we were to build it over here, it's in range of the energy pylon, and it's going to be able to tap into the richer source of xanthane and therefore produce more fuel for us, because right now you can see that the factory is barely able to keep up with what we are producing and needing at this point exactly. Question is if we're going to be able to get the necessary resources. Why aren't some of these things surveyed? That's my question. So what would be like a good building for us to claim? This one has something like this. This is out of range. This one is good too. It's gonna take us a bit longer to get there. So I really need that fuel turbine that's gonna keep our energy up and running. Over here, 42%. That's the range currently of the pylon, so I'm gonna build it by here, by these crevices where there's like 48 point something percent. So it's almost at 50% ratio of the gas in the atmosphere, so that should help us run smoothly. And it looks like our storage of waste is full. So we're gonna have to do something about that in order to keep this place nice and tidy. So let's put down 4 of these. And then we're gonna try to allocate the smokestack somewhere as well in order to start burning through the waste. And actually, previously when I played this, what was awesome is that the smokestack was able to create pollution, and the pollution was pumping in more xanthane into the atmosphere. So if you kept your smokestack next to your fuel turbine, it was actually a beneficial partnership as you were A, burning through your waste, and B, you were able to produce more fuel thanks to that. So I'm not really sure if that's going to be still the case. We're going to see. The problem here is the 56%, which are kind of scaring me right now. Minerals. This one is also good. What is happening here? Yeah, I know that the trash receptacles are full. But that is why we have more in here. And hopefully someone's gonna clean this up. We really need to change that, clean up. Let's put that as a higher priority. Minerals. There's all sorts of good stuff in here. 180. It's taking a while for us to get there to the 200 mark. And after that, we are gonna definitely need the additional 400 minerals, or we are royally screwed. A question is, what would it take for us to try and do this? Yeah, so you see fuel turbine also only uses the basic type, so the or the manufactured or upgraded resources are not going to be able to help us here. So I'm really hoping we're going to be able to tap into this 42 point something percent. This is really rich on the xanthane, or whatever you pronounce it like. Resource as is. Trash is being moved in, so they are doing the cleanup right now. Fuel. Yeah, fuel is a problem right now, so we aren't able to really do anything with that. And also, we're gonna soon cram in all this waste which we have into our receptacles, and we're gonna run out of storage for them too. So I'm gonna be forced to go ahead and do this. Which is gonna move us again a bit more back. This needs to be processed, and Do we have actually even room on the upper floor for the... Yeah, so we have plenty of room over here. Okay, awesome. I really don't want to be making fuel inside of the factory anymore. If we can really build a turbine, it would be much more proficient. It would just mean that one of our employees would have to be stationed inside of the building. So we would have like 7 employees running around and doing all this excavation and gathering of resources type of work. So hopefully they're gonna take everything which we need in order to build that damn turbine. And hopefully it's not gonna affect everything too badly. And of course, I think we can also upgrade this building in order to have a wider range of area. So if I would want to reach, for example, the spaceship board over here, or see what's in this crevice, or just do whatever, we would need actually just the isotopes. I don't mind spending the isotopes to do that. But you can see during the work done here, of course, as well, the range is shut. So if we were to lose this command center, that would mean that if I would have some buildings stationed over here and the enemy spaceship would come in, destroy the command center, we would lose control over the buildings over there, and we would have to re-establish a command center in order to make sure that we have control of said region yet again. You can even see that these scouted buildings right now aren't able to be claimed, salvaged, or anything, because we do not have the necessary range for them to be processed. And because we're going to be upgrading the command center, it's going to tap into the energy consumption, and it's going to try to deplete even more potential fuel, so that might have some negative effects too. Okay, so you see, we now have a wide range. We can do something with ruined monument, construct monument center, so this will grant us influence per minute, things like this, so that can be pretty damn neat. We can take a look right now at the Xanthane thingy and see what's like the percentage if we would be able to get rid of some of these buildings. So I can directly try to claim this in order to see what's the ratio, and maybe then like upgrade the grid, or just build another pylon or something. Isotopes, no. Minerals, yes. Because right now I'm like holding on to see if the fuel turbine can be put somewhere better for us to judge. Here is 43%, here is 43%. I do not see the difference, so we're just gonna put down the turbine over here. And this is where the danger lies. If you start spreading out like this, what might happen is that you don't know from which direction the enemy rebels are gonna come in and start attacking you. So if they would, for example, shut down my fuel turbine, it would be really bad for us, because already we are tapping into our fuel reserves. So that is something which we will need to manage. Okay, so what I want to do, we have again full storage of trash. It's just driving me crazy. Let's build 4 more up in here. And I wanted to go into the upper floor. Also, one thing which I would appreciate from the devs is for me to be able to like hold some sort of button over this building and be able to go to like the menu, which would pop up floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, and it would allow me to actually choose that I want to go directly to floor 2, so I don't always have to go from the map into the building from the bottom floor to the upper floor. It's really annoying. So if they would be able to address this, I would be super happy. Okay, let's build this over here so that we can get those 2 additional employees, because one of them is going to be working in the fuel turbine, one of them is going to be required for managing the turret. So out of 8 employees, we would realistically have only like 10 of them or so. And also it looks like we were able to increase the capacity of the employees thanks to us building the conversion center. So we're gonna start using these artifacts in order to start changing these people into the employees. So we're gonna soon see that this is gonna drop from 7 and this is gonna go from 8 till 9. And it also creates a lot of trash. So let's go ahead and keep this up, and also it's gonna change how much money we are using for the salaries. So this is why we're gonna also need to increase our population in order for them to be able to use those brainwashing cubicles. I think we're gonna keep it at 10 for now. We have some influence to spend. We have this area to survey. So let's just do that. From here I would be able to build, for example, up in here, or build up in here, and have even wider range or wider access to stuff. We just need this fuel thing to be done, so we are going to prioritize this with this lovely little star up in here. We have almost 50 points, 11, 8, 26. 26 seems awesome, but this one seems good too. So hopefully once this is up and running, we're going to be able to start producing more fuel. And because, as I said, this is working on the macro scale in comparison to the micro scale from within the factory itself, it should really help us offset how much fuel we are burning through right now. So hopefully they're going to be able to carry in all those minerals from within the factory. We're seriously going to have to hook ourselves up with the logistics and see how that works. I haven't had the chance yet to try it out, because what usually happens is I either run out of all the resources in the surrounding area, or B, the enemy ship comes in and destroys the headquarters, and then it's just a game over. We have room for 2 people. Are you able to give me... We can actually upgrade the storage. So let's dump in some stuff, and that should change what the ships look like when they come in every couple of minutes or so. Question is if someone's gonna offer me 2 people. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen, huh? I really hate the fact that I would have to go ahead and do something stupid. So what I might consider is going residential, but again, it's yeah, this is also only using the unrefined resources, which makes me wonder why the hell would you even go through all this hustle with trying to refine resources if everything is asking for just the basic stuff. Aren't you done yet? What's happening? This used to be much faster before. They have definitely reworked some of these things in order to make it look like people are delivering these resources and such. But now we should be at like 9 employees working. So I'm thinking since we have still more artifacts, we're gonna go and change even 1 more person so that we still have 10 employees running around doing whatever it is that is necessary of them to do. This thing holds the refined things. I don't really need that. And here we're gonna put down an employee, and that employee is gonna start to transfer or change the xanthane into the fuel once he shows up. And so you can see that suddenly we have a massive boost of how much fuel we are producing. So we can go on this upper floor and try to make more energy in this micro setting, or we can of course do it with an actual energy plant. But all these things cost like 200 or so minerals for us to make. And I first want to actually get the stupid turret up and running, because we are at over 60% and that is gonna be super bad. And I swear to God, I don't feel like this is the fastest speed that you guys can work at. Or is it just me? I really hope that this time it's not gonna end up with the ship flying in and ruining everything over an hour of footage. That would just really ruin the day for me. So this is really working well. I'm gonna require that stupid smokestack. This thing costs 100 minerals. I really need to survey the surrounding area. So repair, no. Runs. Let's do that and do the cleanup over here too. So let's rearrange this so that they are surveying everything, so that we know what do we need. We have a bunch of buildings already that need this surveying. So here we have 45%, here we have, yeah, it's gonna be fine. 52 minerals, that's what I like to see. 12, that's not that great. Isotopes, 21. 13 is not that great, 25 stores a lot of fuel. 21 minerals, 20 minerals, 16 waste, and our waste is full. We're really gonna have to do something with this waste management. So let's expand this. It's gonna burn through our minerals. But it's gonna allow us to store all this junk. You see, they're tiptoeing over the trash. Nobody's bothering to clean it up. Why wouldn't you already like clean up everything and just dump it into the trash cans? It's just so weird. Okay, so our priority right now is try to accumulate sufficient quantity of minerals in order to build the damn turret so that we have the headquarters defend it. The problem is, where exactly would I build it? Over here, right? Everything is owned besides this artifact anomaly. It's just... oh, man. So this should do... They're storing way too much trash up in here. If I could, I would build the smokestack somewhere around here or close to here, so it's away from your population and your HQ, because the pollution has, of course, its side effects. But we have not cleared out this area as of yet. So I'm not that keen on doing just that. I really need those damn minerals and such. This one would be awesome, but I'm not really sure what I would do with the refined resources, because right now nothing seems to be really asking for those. And because we need 400 minerals, and it's gonna take its toll to get there. Really need to make this damn smokestack, huh? Man, this is like the worst run ever. You get so much waste out of breaking it down. Why even bother? Let's do this. I want to sell isotopes for more of this reputation, because in return I can tap into one of these two deposits. Or we can start breaking down some of these buildings for more resources of such sorts. But seriously, why the hell would you lock these things so that you cannot actually use the refined resources? Because it kind of defeats the entire purpose behind you trying to refine them and trying to get something extra out of it. Please tell me there's gonna be room for 3 citizens somewhere on this ship. Like a really weird, messed up ship which just drops off 3 people. 7, 0, this just gives us minerals, isotopes, and waste. Our waste is full, but those 16 minerals do sound lovely, so we're gonna go ahead and accept it. And it would be awesome if we can actually have a storage facility. Stores resources. It costs 25. Let's build it over here. Let's prioritize it, and we can try to accommodate all this junk inside of it. It should help us out to manage, hopefully, everything. We have only 88 minerals as is, so I'm kind of miserable. This thing has 16. Question is if from all these resources which we currently see, if we would be even able to get anything additional. Like, we would need more shipments such as this one in order to get in more minerals. But they usually don't come in so often. It's just like every couple of minutes or so. Okay, are you able to store waste too? So I was thinking maybe we're gonna prioritize waste in this building over here. This way we should get quite a lot of storage out of this. We have like 200 units in here. So hopefully they're gonna be able to carry all this trash inside. Put down the cleanup at a higher priority. Or let's keep it ruins, cleanup, and move resources. Processing can be like where it is. I don't care about that. Construct can be too. We aren't building, however, anything as of now. And they are just working hard to try and move everything around. This is still working fine for us. So how are we with our reputation? Yeah, the storage of the fuel would be awesome, but it's too damn far away for me to try and protect it. So if the spaceship would come from this direction and just start blasting the fuel storage, not the best thing. Not the best thing. We are getting closer and closer to 70%. It looks like right now it's actually snowing even here. Oh, does this moon have an actual atmosphere? Maybe they really did terraform it. We don't know exactly what year it is in this game, so everything is possible. Would you want to live on a planet like this? That's a question. Well, planet, it's a moon, so it's not. That also raises the question: how did they manage to make it work so that the gravitation of the planet is as strong as it is? I highly doubt that the actual planet around which you are orbiting would have the gravitational pull to keep you grounded. I don't think that's how it works. Someone who knows anything about science would have to explain that to everyone. But I don't think you can actually leave that long of a comment in the comment section. You can try. I do appreciate the comments, don't get me wrong. But it certainly would create some sort of fun situation. Like, I would actually think they would be bouncing around or something, so who knows what all sorts of things they had to do. This is holding on to everything, and I don't even know if we are able to store as much as we need. But I think the episode is already long enough, so Since we did not get destroyed as of yet, I think I'm gonna cut it off over here. And I'm gonna try to record another episode and try to publish these close to one another, so that if you are interested, you are able to see how it goes. Again, I'm gonna try to leave the links for the game in the video's description, because when I picked this up, I had to do it on Epic Store games. Like right now, there's Far Cry 6 and Assassin's Creed, the Viking one, and all these other games, which are only gonna be accessible on the Epic Store, and I'm not exactly thrilled about it, because for example, even Darkest Dungeon I think came out before Epic Store was what it is today. So what do I know? So if you did like this episode, give it a big thumbs up, and for more fun content like this, make sure to subscribe, as I publish videos on a weekly basis. I'm gonna wish you a pleasant rest of the day, and hopefully I will see you all in the comments or at the next one. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye from Titan for now. And I really hope in the next 5 minutes of the next episode, the ship will not fly in and just destroy the HQ. That would just really piss me off. I should probably like save this or something, right? That would be a smart idea. Why don't I do these smart ideas?